welcome back to the free-to-play channel where we hate minorities as well as majorities. Back at it again with the Knights of the Old Republic, and I was planning to start off on Ebon Hawk already, but at the end of the previous episode I was going on foot over through what is this? Anchorhead, and there was an event, so we're gonna go over it as well because I don't know if it shows up at any other planet with at any other point in time. So to not lose out on the opportunity and to get it out of the way right away, we're gonna do it right now. Hopefully there won't be any noises. I specifically waited for them to go away. And also I wanted to mention that in the swoop registration under the whatever Hut's name was, there is this young Nico guy who wants to professionally race, but since this place is under the rule of Huts, it's all scams and shit, so you're supposed to talk him into taking a shitty deal. And you know, you can talk him out of it, you can tell him to do better, and you can get the money, cause what else are you gonna do? And of course we're not doing it, cause this is a zero fucks playthrough, so let's have the event now. Forgive me for the intrusion, human. My name is Seni Vek. I believe you dropped this datapad and I wish to return it to you. We've got a bunch of options, but I'd like to direct your attention to our face now, which is undergoing a few changes. I mean, going paler or ashy and having yellow eyes is one thing, but having these weird skin conditions, being veiny and shit, that's just weird. I mean, Palpatine went all wrinkly and shit, but this isn't really wrinkling. It just looks weird. And it's not looking any better in the original low quality version of the textures either. So, back to the dialogue. Our options are: I didn't drop anything. I'm sorry, there must be some mistake. What is this, some kind of con game? And thanks. So, let's be aggressive, because I like that. Why not confront the motherfucker? It's not like he's gonna go away if we're polite. So we're going with this. What is this? Some kind of con game? No, this is no game. I simply saw you drop this datapad and I wish to give it back to you. Oh, he's so excited and long-winded about it. Also, he's wearing all black on the desert. Well, you know, black does absorb UV radiation as well, so you won't get skin cancer, but it also gets a bit warm. And he's so happy all about it. So we can get, again, thanks. Again, I didn't drop anything. Again, I'm sorry, there must be some mistake. And we can just outright say, I don't want it. Well, obviously, if we had dropped anything, we would have gotten a message, a pop-up, telling us that an item was lost, and we didn't get that, so it's clearly a con, but it's also a metagaming issue, so you can take it however you want. But this is a side quest of Geno Haradan that tells us a contact on Manan, I think, or wherever, doesn't really matter, from which you then are sent all over the galaxy, which is to say, all over the planets that you are gonna visit throughout the main story, because we're not gonna add things just for world building, I guess, just adding content for hardly any reason, to assassinate a bunch of people, and it's for destabilizing some regions or some shit. Anyway, you can get some equipments and money out of that, but since it's a side quest and we're on tight schedule of saving the galaxy, we're not gonna accept it. I don't want it. Are you certain, human? Please take the datapad. Like, he's shoving it in our faces like a fucking sleazy salesman. Like, take it, no, take it. Like, if they call you on your phone, right, with some offer, no, but listen, hey, the insurance and shit, right, you should take it. I mean, the new channels and shit, I mean, more internet on your phone, you should take it. No, we're not taking it. Again, you can always say you're not interested and disconnect. You don't have to get into the talk. So, fine, give me the stupid datapad. No, it's not mine, I won't take it. And of course, I'll beat you to death with that datapad if you don't go away right now. I think I'm gonna go with 3, cause it's the most fun. Very well, human. I will keep the datapad and I will leave. Goodbye, human. It's absolutely irritating how he continues to call us human. I'm not calling him Twi'lek, so maybe I call him you. So maybe do the same and stop calling me human. What do you think? Who do you think you are? Some sort of alien that's above me and I'm beneath you? It's like all those gods and shit all those gods characters and angel characters call themselves, well, they don't call themselves immortal, but they are immortal and they call everyone else mortal to degrade them. It's like a dog whistle term, I think. It'll be annotated. So we get more dark side points out of that, and I'm gonna quickly go over to Vazas to sell a bunch of raid plates, because we collected a few on the way there and back. And the nice thing about it is that Faza actually reacts to what we've done recently, which is to say, kill the dragon. Look, I heard about that big fight on the dunes. You're the talk of the lodge. Kill the dragon? How about that? Yeah, so we of course have something to sell you. And we're not selling a dragon pearl, that's a lightsaber crystal, and it's pretty alright, and we're gonna be putting it in our lightsaber soon enough. So raid plates they are. In the meantime, I'm sure you're dying to know about the email, whether I got the email, whether I was accepted to voice characters in the Knights of the Old Republic mini-series that the dude is making that I mentioned lately. And I'm happy to say that I did get the email, I didn't fuck up my mail, but of course I did not get the part, any part really, so I feel awful about it. I put in some effort into it, and it all have gone to waste essentially. And since I didn't get any major roles, I'm not expecting to get any minor roles either, so that kind of feels shitty. But now we're gonna buy a poison to get rid of gizkas from our ship, because the alternative is going to Manan to sell them to a zoo for some cash, but we don't really care to bother. We can get rid of that issue right now, even though it's not much of an issue on the ship itself, really, because they're just around and they don't really do anything important. You can treat them as pets. They're actually pests. So since we can murder them and get some roleplay dark side points for cheaper dark side force power uses, we gonna. Also, a little tidbit, there is infinite number of those poisons, amount of poison, however you want to interpret it, even, obviously it has to be quantified for the purpose of playing the game, but for some reason they've got just infinite access, or infinite supply of specifically gizka poison on Tatooine. So I'm gonna record a bit as well, in one place or another, talking to a gizka. Well, crew quarters it is then, with a nice lighting as well. So let's go over this, because that's content as well. Let's do it. The gizka looks at you curiously, cooing. Pick it up. You try to pick up the gizka, but it wriggles from your grasp and plops back down to the floor. Slippery fuck. Pet it. You scratch the little critter behind its nubs that pass for ears, and it coos enthusiastically in response. So you can see it wriggling its sort of ears, aside from having those two horns as well. And now we can kill it. Kill it. The fragile creature's neck is easily wrung. Strangely enough, another gizka shows itself a moment later, crawling out from between two panels. And you grab your head in denial of how quickly they reproduce. I don't know what they're eating, because there's hardly anything in the open for them to eat, and also they're pretty big. So how do they reproduce this fast and subside on? I don't know, maybe they live for very little time, so they eat each other's corpses, but that still has energy losses, so it wouldn't sustain their population for long. Now also, if you would notice how it's built, other than it being built like a frog on 2 legs and not having any arms, we went over what the ears are, but we hardly went over those fucking gaping holes that should pass for an eye. I mean, they look like when you have a dead fish and its eyes are dried out or eaten out as well. They look like fucking empty eye sockets rather than any kind of eye. So that's kind of disturbing, that's morbid. It's weird that they didn't pay attention or didn't try to make them any better. At least in the original, because the upscaled, up-resed textures just work on what they were given, and they were giving the original texture, so that looks weird, yeah. Maybe you can find a bit of an iris in there and like a white of the eye, but you know, sunken this deeply and being this flat, it just looks like an empty cavity for me, to me at least. Oh yeah, I was supposed to poison it as well. Right, so another nice place to do it in, maybe in the storage where we store food. And now we feed it the poison. The gizka devours the poison in a single greedy gulp. It will probably take a few seconds for the poison to have an effect. And it's also standing sunken into the floor panels, so that's great. A few seconds for the poison to take effect. Poisons don't really take effect that quickly. No, they don't. And of course, oh right, and of course when it dies it makes a massive sound of a dying fucking elephant or a lion, being this fucking tiny frog creature that coos with creaking that I could replicate, but I won't, because I didn't get the part either way, right? So why bother doing my doing something with my acting chops? Also, the point is that the poisonous is not supposed to act right away on one gizka. It's supposed to be spread around in the population and kill the entire not society, group, herd. I mean, there are different words for herds, but they're based on superstitious understanding of what do the animals represent. So I'm not gonna go over it. Yeah, I'm just gonna call it herd. You should spread it through the entire herd. But if it dies right away, it doesn't. They're supposed to rub against each other. It should work like a roach poison. But anyway, they die soon enough, as soon as we reload the zone, I think. And since we're about to reload the zone, maybe let's go and do that, and then we'll talk more about a bunch of things. Because for instance, we had a mission, and I mentioned that we had a mission. We have a mission, and we could have had a mission with her, how she talks about her brother, because if you bother talking to her, she'll mention her brother and how he took care of her since her young age, because something happened to their parents. I don't remember, I don't care. You can play it again, you'll learn then. So he took care of her, and they were running scams together, so she has fond memory of that. And he was older than her, so he took care of her, and then he put her on a ship and flew her off to Taris apparently, and left her. And so she must have misinterpreted that as a as a gesture of kindness and care that he sent her off to have a better life somewhere else. But no, he actually just sold her off to get some money to run some other scam, or just live off of, because this is a scam. And then he found himself a girlfriend. And Mission also talks about his girlfriend, and she has only mean things to say about her, because again she has this misinterpretation of her brother that he always took care of her, so he must be nice even though he ran scams. But once we meet his girlfriend, it turns out that she's the nice person, and once we meet her Mission's brother and the girlfriend's boyfriend, which is her brother, Mission's brother, we learn that she was also scammed by him. And we meet Mission's brother, I don't remember his name either, in the Tusken Raiders enclave, and we can talk to Mission and either have her reconcile with her brother and help the brother out. And I think we meet him again later, actually, on Rakata, or you can tell her to cut him out of her life. And actually, I would advocate for cutting him out of her life. And also, I mean that in a sense of, if you have anyone in your life that's mean to you and you're being a nice person anyway, you should cut them out of their life, whether they're blood or not, whether they're related or not. Because it doesn't matter if it's your son, your daughter, your sister, your parent. If they abuse you, you should get rid of them. There's no reconciliation here. You don't need them in your life. You don't need abuse in your life. Like, serious. This is a dark side choice, maybe to some because they don't understand how serious the issue is. You should cut them out of your life, and it's not on you to try to fix them and reconcile with them. If they want to change, they should go through the changes and change and initiate the reconciliation. Try to talk to you, and I don't know if you should give them a chance or not. That's entirely up to you now. But then they're supposed to uphold their promise and be a better person. So I wouldn't, if you want to give them a chance, I wouldn't give them many chances. So there's that. And yeah, Mission. So there's something you can play through yourself. I don't know if we can meet her brother somewhere else other than Tatooine, but we meet him on Tatooine if you talk to her plenty enough. So I still have to find a place for Yavin to show up in the playthrough. But other than that, we're going to Kashyyyk, and from there we'll take up a few more topics.